Listen, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. The good guy in this story isn't who you think he is. This classic toy has a bit of an accidental beginning. Its messy middle is riddled with greed, sketchy behavior, and an escape to cult life, obviously, but it does have a triumphant ending. We all love a good ending. Spring on down to those like and subscribe buttons so we can hit rewind on the rest of this story. We are starting the story in my favorite little town on the map, State College, Pennsylvania, where Penn State graduate Richard T. James began his career as an engineer. In the years to follow, he would obtain quite a few other titles: wartime employee, children's toy inventor, and Bolivian cult member. Whatever. Out on a shipyard in Philadelphia, Richard James worked the livelong day away as a wartime engineering employee. He was responsible for devising plans for new naval battleships during World War II. It was here, amid stabilizing technology development, casual, that he accidentally knocked off a sample of tension springs from the shelf, sending them into a frenzy we find ourselves familiar with today. Tipping, toiling, and turning over on themselves, the springs were the accidental brainchild of Richard's soon-to-be hit toy, the Slinky. From this clumsy move came the age of experimentation. Richard and his crew, comprised of 2 colleagues as well as his wife, Betty, spent about 2 years testing different lengths, coil sizes, metals, materials, and formulas, until they finally landed on our winner, the solo stair walker, the Slinky. A fellow Penn Stater, Betty became instrumental in the development and marketing of the toy. With full confidence in her husband and his brilliantly simple contraption, Betty accompanied him in finding James Industries. Built from a $500 loan and a little spring in their step, it was also Betty who picked the Slinky name. Chosen from the Swedish word out of the dictionary, the spring's name comes from the sound it makes as it tumbles down the stairs. The couple's first run was at Gimbel's department store in Philadelphia. They were given a sloped apparatus for demonstration, and after just a few climbs down the slant, money started flying their way. In just an hour and a half, the James pair sold out of their 400 toy stock. While it seems they could only go up from here, I mean, honestly, who wouldn't pay out the wazoo for a giant spring? The pep in their Slinky step quickly faded. Dun dun dun. With the initial fame and publicity filling his head with hot air, Richard's demise from Slinky stardom came quickly. By the late 50s, the fad had begun to fizzle, and Richard grew restless and eager for more. After making many hefty donations to shady religious organizations over the years, Richard picked up and moved to Bolivia to join a religious cult. Betty, on the other hand, wasn't ready to let her success go to shame. She refused to accompany him on his road to cult life and kept the legacy of the Slinky alive as she moved herself and their 6 children back to her hometown of Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. Picking up the pieces from her husband's poor financial and business decisions, Betty rebuilt the bones of their once shared brainchild. She brought along the original design and the manufacturing equipment, which is all actually still in use today, and she launched the Slinky's television debut with a catchy jingle. From here, the Slinky had nowhere to go but up. Figuratively, of course, because really Slinkies can only go down. But with Richard completely removed from the process and the family business, Betty became the queen of this toy industry Hall of Fame inductee. She had a nearly 40-year-long stint as the president of James Industries before she passed away at the age of 90. The youngest of the James' 6 children, Rebecca, said that her mother's ability to bring the company out of the ashes following her father's departure, all while raising 6 children, was simply amazing. At the time of Betty's passing in 2008, there were enough Slinkies sold to circle the globe 150 times. Today, more than 360 million Slinkies have been sold. If you ask us, we're glad Richard took a hike and left the Slinky legacy to our gal Betty. She took care of our childhood favorite toy and gave it an everlasting era. If you enjoyed this travel back in toy history, don't forget to spring on over to the subscribe button. Until next time, I'm Steph DeSazio, and this is Ripley's Rewind.